What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of the Fight Maniac Podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, I really appreciate all of you that are out there watching, listening. As always, if you want to support your boy, man, all I ask is that you hit the like button and you hit the subscribe button. That will help me out tremendously. So thank you guys. And while you're at it, just leave me a comment. Let me know if you agree with, some of my breakdowns, my takes. Tell me why you agree, why you disagree. I would love to hear from you guys. Massive episode today. Obviously, we had UFC 322 over this past weekend. So I'll be fully breaking that down, telling you what's next for the fighters, for the winners, for the losers. And yeah, just give you my, my 2 cents on the whole thing. Great card, bro. Great card. I mean, I will say that probably one of the cards of the year. I mean, as far as deliveries, we had like 4 or 5 knockouts straight in a row, starting with the Bo Nickel knockout and then pretty much all till the main event, until the, on the main card, until the co-main and the main event. Until then, those 2 fights were honestly, kind of boring, right? Kind of boring. But up until that point, the whole card was absolutely on fire. The prelims were also pretty good. A lot of finishes too, so I liked it a lot. Not that I like only finishes, and I can also appreciate a good fight that goes a distance, right? But I mean, I guess, this whole topic of Islam being a boring fighter, Valentina being a boring fighter, just because both of them ended up just completely dominating the whole fight, right? On their perspective fight, which was kind of the opposite. If you want to think of it this way, it's kind of funny. Valentina dominated the smaller opponent when Islam dominated the bigger opponent. So thought that was kind of funny. So yeah. I'll start breaking it down. I'll start with the main event, right? Let's get right to it. Obviously, we had Islam Makhachev defeat Jack Della Maddalena. Pretty much domination. I want to say there were a few 10-8 rounds right there. Really no damage, though, which is kind of the unfortunate part. Total strikes thrown by JDM were 30 that landed out of 74. That's on a 25-minute fight. That's nothing. That's absolutely nothing. And obviously, because Islam did not play that game, he did not want to stand up that much with JDM. He did, the first round and then a few moments, he did kind of entertain the striking a little bit. Even in the striking, I can tell he was definitely a little better than JDM, which is crazy because the whole narrative going into this fight was that the JDM's biggest tool was going to be his boxing and how he's such a good boxer, right? But the key is the wrestling. The moment Islam introduced the wrestling to JDM, and the moment JDM felt that pressure from Islam, you can't strike the same. I think we see that, we understand that. When the fear of the takedown is there lingering on the back of your mind throughout the whole fight, you can't let loose. You really cannot let loose. You cannot find your rhythm. Why? Because if you throw a big punch, if you throw a big kick, you're risking yourself, getting taken down. So, if I had to give my humble opinion on what I think happened to JDM, it's not that he was such a much worse fighter than Islam, or that he was on an off night or anything. I just think that once he felt a little bit of that wrestling in the first round and he felt the pressure, he couldn't get comfortable. And he couldn't find his rhythm. Obviously there is the narrative, the whole topic going on right now that, boring fighter. Islam is such a boring fighter. And I honestly have to agree, right? What I expect of the now what I expect of the now number one pound for pound fighter in the world, it's fireworks. It's great fight IQ. It's great wrestling. It's, you're pound for pound. You have to have a mix of everything. And mind you, Islam is definitely a well-rounded fighter, probably the best well-rounded fighter in the whole world. But it's just not exciting. It's not fun to watch. It's not entertaining to watch. I think I would be completely fine if in future cards they put Islam on a co-main event. That would be completely fine with me. Yeah, should he be the number one pound for pound fighter in the world? I guess so. Double champ at this point. Never really defended the belt against anybody. It's too serious at lightweight. Didn't get the Topuria fight. If that is the real pound for pound fight, if he would have stayed at 55 and defended the belt against Topuria, that is the real pound for pound fight because it's number one versus number two. So that's how you really solidify yourself. Was JDM even in the pound for pound rankings? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna check, but that was the real pound for pound fight that obviously everybody was waiting for, right? Another thing I'm so confused on, and this is separate from the fighting, so let me just take a step back a little bit. Why the fuck, during the press conference and the whole week, Islam and Zhang Weili had a belt? Hey, they're not champions anymore. They're not the champions. Mackenzie Dern is the champion at the strawweight division in the women's, and Ilia Topuria is the lightweight champion in the men's division. So why were Islam and Zhang Weili parading around a belt the entire fight week? And I get it. Once Islam wins the fight, he gets the two belts because that's kind of what happened to Conor. And at the time, Conor also was kind of in a gray area when it came to defending the featherweight championship. So I get it. It's for the show. It's for the double belt, double status. But it wasn't really a champion versus champion fight. It wasn't really like when Volk fought Islam. That was real active featherweight champ versus active lightweight champ. That is, I do want to see two belts there. I do want to see the whole marketing champion versus champion. I do want to see the two belts in the press conference. But the fact that Islam is not the lightweight champion anymore and Weili is not the strawweight champion anymore, I don't know. That bothers me a little bit. Call me crazy, but it just bothers me a little bit. So yeah, that's my 2 cents with that. I don't know. I just don't think it's that fair to Topuria and to Mackenzie Dern. Like, hey, that's my belt. That's literally my championship. They're not, I'm the champion. It is true though that once you win a belt, you kind of keep it for the rest of your life. It's not like WWE where you have to give it back. I think that's how it works. I don't know. I don't really watch it that much anymore. But it is my understanding that obviously you get to keep a version or a copy of the belt, and obviously they produce more belts for the newer champions, right? So even though you're no longer the champion, you still have the belts and whatnot. But again, you're not the champion. So this whole fight card, it was bothering me that, so I had to get off my chest. I'm sorry, but obviously I get it, right? Moving up, I get it. It's fine. I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. I feel so bad for JDM, man, because I was really, really rooting for him the entire week. He, throughout the whole week, he had confidence. You can tell he was confident in himself. He had a nice little aura to him, during the press conference, during the media day. He was looking sharp, like he was answering questions super sharp. The whole week he looked good. He looked fantastic. So the fact that Islam just kind of did that to him, it's absolutely insane, right? It's absolutely insane. But it's that wrestling, bro. I'm telling you, it's the key. It's the absolute key. If Islam doesn't wrestle for, let's say, 2 rounds, Jack could have potentially taken one of those rounds with the striking and just kind of landing a few more shots that would make Islam back off a little bit or make Islam respect JDM a little more. But the fact that Jack just never got going. And mind you, I mean, I do think Islam has great striking, and I think this is not anything new. We've seen that before. We've heard that before from other people, from other fighters. When they compare him to Khabib, they say, oh, he's like a Khabib, but with better striking, right? So relentless wrestling, same style as Khabib, but definitely better on the striking. And you can see it. You can really, really see it. I mean, he mixes it up real well with the jabs, with the leg kicks. And another key takeaway here from this fight was that he attacked the legs of JDM early on. So on top of JDM being scared of the takedown, his mobility was compromised by, Islam's leg kicks. So he couldn't really do much in that department either. So your movement's compromised, your decision making's compromised because you're expecting the takedown. But then you get taken down right away. He did do JDM. He did do a few good. He had a few good instances where he reversed the takedown a little bit, or he would kind of try to explode and do some of that chain wrestling a little bit. He had a few moments, but it was never enough. It was never enough to turn the fight around to even see a light at the end of the tunnel. It was never enough. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of it, really. When you break down the fight, that's all really we can see. I mean, the damage is not there. 19 minutes of control for Islam on a 25-minute fight. That's crazy. Pretty much every round he didn't wrestle for about 1 minute on average. Other than that, he was wrestling 4 out of 4 takedowns, but that was like 1 takedown per round, pretty much. I think they're missing one there for sure, because he for sure shot in every single round. So this is interesting to me, though, because the ESPN website has the stats, and it says submission attempts for Islam 0. I definitely saw him not having a choke, but we did see him trying to go for a Kimura one time, for a rear naked choke a few times, for a Darce choke a few times. But I guess for them to count it as a submission attempt, he actually has to fully have the grip. And I guess at never point we were like, oh shit, JDM's gonna tap, he's gonna tap. It was just he always got 80% there. So, I mean, props to JDM for surviving those attempts, I guess, When you look at Islam's previous fights, obviously Dustin Poirier, or even if you go back a little bit more, like Dan Hooker, great submissions right there. He was trying to set up with JDM a Kimura that he got Dan Hooker with. This was 3-4 years ago, maybe even more. It was a beautiful submission that obviously ended the fight versus Dan Hooker. So I was like, oh, he might get that. But again, JDM, I think, did a really good job at defending some of it. By the way, somebody asked Dana this during the press conference on if he thought that the fight could have been, if the fighters could have been stood up at some point, because there was really a few minutes there where Islam was on top of JDM, not doing anything. And we saw in previous fights on that same night that the ref was standing on people for being inactive on the wrestling. And I was saying it during the fight, they should stand him up right now. I mean, it was middle of round 3, round 4. Nothing was really happening. Islam was just on top of JDM. He definitely was trying to pass guard a little bit, but he was just doing it too slow at some point, right? So the fact that the ref didn't stand him up, in my opinion, was kind of bullshit. Definitely should have stood up that fight at numerous times, right? Definitely, because there were moments where Islam was absolutely doing nothing, just sniffing JDM's nutsack. So yeah, that's when you should start up the fight, and that's when some of these refs, I don't want to sound like a crazy conspiracy or anything, but some of these refs, some of these judges, they just sometimes make some questionable, stupid ass decisions, bro. And the thing, the crazy thing here is that this whole timeline, this whole history could have been completely different if it wasn't for some horrible judging, right? Islam versus Volkanovski won. Myself and a lot of people definitely agree that he lost that fight. So again, this whole timeline, this whole Islam title reign could have looked completely different if one of those judges wouldn't fucking be such a fucking crook, So yeah, it is what it is, man. Obviously, Islam is now the newest two-division champ in the UFC. Whether you like it or not, it is what it is. He joins a list of very, very elite and prestige fighters, a very short list that have ever become two-division champs. And even if you go back and you look at the fight, like against Poirier, for example, like it was definitely a bit more exciting, right? Even just because Poirier, I think, had more success on the feet. So if JDM could have done a little bit more work and just kind of let loose a little more and get going a little bit better, this fight could have been a little bit different. But I mean, from the beginning, I saw it as an Islam win. I mean, you can't really stop these fucking Dagestanis, so it is what it is, We have to just deal with it. Then we move up to the co-main event of the evening, Valentina the Bullet Shevchenko defending her title against Zhang Weili. And I'm just going to say it flat out, and I want to be completely honest with you. This fight was so fucking boring. I mean, I walked away. I could not. I was like, there's nothing that is interesting me right now. And it's for me, it's hard to say that because I'm actually a pretty big Valentina Shevchenko fan. On paper, this fight was like supposed to deliver, right? You had the perfect scenario: dominant champion versus dominant champion, veterans of the sport, fucking two savages, great careers, great records, and we get this. And there wasn't a more horrible way to just completely pump the brakes on what was seeming out to be such a beautiful, beautiful card. We were having, 5-6 finishes in a row, and then we get this bullshit, and then we get the main event bullshit. It ruined my night. It wasn't that bad, but definitely not happy. I'm not going to spend too much time on this because, obviously Valentina had a very, very clear size advantage, right? Of why Zhang Weili, from the very beginning, I could tell that she was definitely smaller, but you can't really tell until they face off and until they get in there in the octagon. So while they were facing off and all of that, I was like, Weili is actually not that smaller, right? And they're pretty much the same height. And we know she weighs less, but what's going to be the difference, right? And it was a lot. Valentina was clearly overpowering Weili wherever she wanted. Took her down at will. Weili had 0 takedowns. Valentina had 5 takedowns. So, yeah, it was complete domination for Valentina, and she was able to retain her title, but it was boring as shit. Let me move on to the better fights of the night, because the rest of the main card and some of the prelims here were absolutely fantastic. We had first Sean Brady versus Michael Morales. This is a fight that I told you guys last week. This could be fight of the night, and unfortunately it wasn't, but we had a fantastic first round finish by Michael Morales, who remains undefeated. Now 19-0, dude. What a savage to put away a guy like Sean Brady like that. Sean Brady has never, ever been put away like that. He he did lose against Bilal by TKO, but it wasn't really that bad. Other than that, he was completely undefeated in his MMA career. And then he faces Michael fucking Morales, dude, and he gets mollywopped, bro. I mean, this is wild, dude. I didn't know who to pick in this fight. I think if I remember correctly in my prediction video last week, I might have picked Sean Brady, but I was watching with my buddies and we were like betting between us, you know, nothing crazy, just betting few small amounts between us. And I didn't want to bet in this fight because when they were doing the walkouts, when they were doing the whole introduction of the fighters, I just didn't know who was gonna win, dude. Both of these fighters were on paper really evenly matched and really good. Great matchup. But hey, Michael Morales, dude, holy shit, amazing KO to finish somebody like Sean Brady. It's amazing. It's so amazing. And I know he called for a title shot. I think there's one more fight there. I think there's definitely one more fight. He hasn't fought really anybody that as big of a caliber as Sean Brady, or even bigger, really, you know, like other than Gilbert Burns. A lot of he only has that are somewhat impressive: Neil Magny, Gilbert Burns, and Sean Brady. That's not enough. That's not enough for a title shot. I'm sorry, but it's not. I'm a huge fan of Michael Morales now. I mean, I was already before, but now I'm locked in. You know, I'm full on the train. So yeah, I mean, he definitely needs one more, and that's fine. That's fine, and especially because at welterweight, man, it's so fucking stacked right now. There, you have so many people that are very near a title shot or even deserving of a title shot. Like deserving of a title shot, you have two people for sure. You have Kamaru Usman and Shavkat Rakhmonov. But Shavkat Rakhmonov, the last we've been hearing is that he's injured. We haven't even heard when he's going to come back, but he's been injured. So it clearly could be Usman. And, you know, you have Ian Gary in that mix. You have Bilal Muhammad in that mix. You have Ian, did I say it, Ian Gary? You have Joaquin Buckley, who just needs to win one or two more, and he's there as well. Now you have Carlos Prates in that mix, Michael Morales in that mix. So it's just such a fucking... It's an amazing division right now. It's the best division right now. It definitely took... It used to be lightweight, but now welterweight took the title for the absolute best division in the UFC. And I guess that's something I forgot to talk about. My bad. I skipped right over this on the previous breakdown earlier of the main event of JDM versus Islam, was that who was next for Islam, right? And I mean, Kamaru Usman is a clear option. Joe Rogan said it best, like, it's a big name. It's easy to sell the fight. It will be great for Islam's legacy if he's able to get past Kamaru Usman, you know. But size-wise and wrestling-wise, Kamaru Usman is no JDM, brother. Kamaru Usman has something to say with wrestling, with size. Like, boy is not playing around. So that's a very interesting fight. It's a very intriguing fight that I would like to hope that Kamaru can get the dub. But, dude, I mean, at this point, are we ever going to bet against Islam? Like, it's such a fucking dumb thing that, I don't know, I hate it. But definitely Kamaru Usman could be a next title contender. I'm not mad at that. Unless we get news from Shavkat's camp, if he's clear to fight, if he's good to go. Like, we just don't know really what's going on with him. So, I mean, the plan could be, like, if Shavkat's still injured, fight Kamaru, and then hope, you know, within 6 months maybe, and then hopefully by that time, Shavkat would be good. But there's just a lot of guys waiting right now, dude. A lot of guys waiting at the welterweight division. Like I already mentioned, like Ian Gary could win one more fight and he'd be there. I think they should do Michael Morales versus Carlos Prates. That could be a great fight because they both just fought, and so they both would be ready, in the coming up months, at the same time. So that makes sense, and that could be a great also number one contender fight, or either of those guys against Ian Gary. There's so many fights to make right there, brother. It's insane. Michael Morales completely defeated Sean Brady, so shout out. Nasty KO. Sean Brady, man, you're still up there, brother. You're still up there. You just have to get back into business, rebuild, just get one or two more dubs, and I guarantee you're also going to be back there in the title talk. So just keep pressuring, my brother. Shout out and good luck. Next up, we have Leon Rocky Edwards versus Carlos Prates. Another fighter that had never been knocked out. So two fighters that had never, Sean Brady did get knocked out before, but Leon Edwards had never been knocked out ever before in his UFC career. Insert this fucking Brazilian cigarette smoker, chain smoker, Carlos Prates, fucking pudding eating. What the fuck did Islam said he was eating? Like donuts or Nutella? Islam said he was eating something. How does this guy does it? He smokes cigarettes, he eats junk food, and he's knocking people the fuck out into another dimension, dude. Like this guy is insane. Carlos Prates. He might completely get smoked by somebody like Islam, somebody like Kamaru, like a good wrestler, right? And it's fucked up because Leon is a pretty good wrestler too. If you remember, Leon took down Kamaru and almost submitted him, right? Almost submitted Kamaru. So the fact that Leon did try to wrestle with Carlos, but he wasn't successful, worries me a little bit. So is Carlos really that good at anti-wrestling or just defending wrestling? But listen, man, I have a whole theory on Leon. The guy's done. The guy's done, dude. Ever since that fight with Bilal, he has just not had any aura, dude. His aura completely died. His vibes are completely off, dude. He has no spark in his eyes. He has no... he has nothing. There's just nothing there. It's hard to explain the way I'm seeing it. There's just nothing there, bro. The guy is done. If he retires right now, I would not question it one bit. I would be like, okay, good. I don't think the guy wants to fight. Who am I to talk for somebody else? But again, just looking at the Bilal fight and then looking at this fight now, looking at the Sean Brady fight, the guy has no aura. The guy just has no confidence, really. Especially because in the Bilal fight, he was being kind of cocky. You could tell he was kind of weird and fake. He was kind of pushing it a little bit when it didn't really need to happen, because Bilal is just Bilal. Everybody makes fun of Bilal, and Leon was unsuccessful at trash talking Bilal. If you go back and you watch those press conferences, they were just odd. They were weird. And Leon has nothing going for him right now, dude. The downfall has to be studied, bro. He completely fell off. Completely. To be a former champ, to have one of the best knockouts in the history of the UFC, to then defend the guy that you beat after everybody said it was a fluke, so you beat him pretty confidently, and then you just lose your entire momentum, dude. You lose your entire fucking shine. He has no shine. Again, I just can't explain it, bro. He just has nothing going for him. He has nothing going for him, bro. The guy needs he needs to go to the mountains, do some fucking mushrooms, do some ayahuasca, do something, bro, because you need to come back. Like, you need some of that pep back, bro. You need some pep in your step, buddy. You need some spark in your eyes. I mean, you have nothing going for you, bro. Sorry, I'm repeating this too much, but it's just, I'm calling it how I see it. I'm calling it how I see it. He might be done. I don't know. He might not be done. I mean, losing three in a row is pretty bad. You don't want to end up like a Tony Ferguson, losing 8 in a row. But I mean, he could definitely defeat some of these lower ranked guys. If they give him a good matchup to kind of gain his confidence again, that might work. But anyways. Carlos Prates, man, another contender there in the welterweight division. So again, someone like a Ian Gary, someone like a Joaquin Buckley, someone like a Marco Morales, any of those guys make sense for any of these other guys. Like, this welterweight division is insane. So Marco Morales, Carlos Prates, Islam Makhachev, Kamaru Usman, Ian Gary, Shavkat Rakhmonov, they all are not short on opponents right now. They are not short on opponents right now. So shout out to Carlos Prates for getting such amazing KO, bro. Amazing KO. Just stiff left, bro. Through Leon's guard. Just bam, dude. Stiff. Sat his ass down, brother. Another amazing KO. Benoit Saint-Denis, BSD. I mean, knocking out Daniel Berriush, who... Another guy that, kind of like Leon, this guy has nothing going for him. Dariush is a bit more likable, though. Dariush gets a bit of a bad rep in the UFC, I think. His record is really not that bad, or before this fight, it wasn't that bad. But, dude, this proves to me that he has absolutely no chin. I mean, at least Leon, he got caught with a stiff left hand. Stiff, straight to the jaw. And then follow with some ground and pound. Daniel barely got touched, bro. It was like, and bro was, it's like Benoit Saint-Denis hit a fucking reset button on the Dariush that he found. Like, bro just turned off. 16 seconds. Wow. 16 seconds. That's all it took for BSD to knockout Beneil Dariush again with the glass chin. Absolutely glass chin. And I know it was funny because Daniel Cormier and Joe Rogan were saying, like, was that the first strike that Benoit Saint-Denis threw? Close. It wasn't. It was a third. He threw like just a couple of like little hooks and jabs there, but when Dariush was going in, and I think that was the first mistake, is that Dariush was kind of going in a bit aggressively without really a game plan. So I don't know. It just was weird. And boy has no jaw. He has no chin. Sorry, no chin, dude. Absolutely glass chin. I mean, barely got touched. Barely. And boy, did a hard reset. Boy, did he do a hard reset. Next up, we had a very impressive performance. Not very impressive, but better than I expected by Bo Nickel. I expected Rodolfo Vieira to be a little bit more active with his jiu-jitsu, with his submission attempts. But Bo Nickel did a pretty good job at kind of controlling the fight a little bit, not letting Rodolfo really be any threats when it came to submissions or takedowns or anything at all. Bo definitely dominated a little bit on the wrestling department and the striking department. So overall, Bo was the better fighter that night against Rodolfo Vieira. So very impressive from Bo. It wasn't a world-class performance by any means. It wasn't. There was still some holes in Bo's game that need to be explored. I also don't like the post-fight interview stuff, how he was flipping people off and taking that shit way too serious. Like, bro, he's caring way too much what people say about him, people's opinions about him. Dude, if you're going out there flipping people off because they're booing you, like, who gives a fuck, bro? You gotta win. You got the win. Nobody in that arena sitting on the stands is getting paid to be there plus possibly a bonus. Nobody. You won, buddy. You won the fight. You're the man. Nobody in that arena is getting paid to be there. You are. You won. They're booing you because dude, you're not this amazing world-class fighter that you were hyped up to be. You were really good at wrestling and you're kind of mid at MMA. So that's why they were booing you. Because you were wrestling at some point and really nothing was happening. And your striking is mid. Your wrestling is really good, but you really have a tough time finishing fights. But I will say that knockout was really awesome. That knockout against Rodolfo Vieira was really, really nice. It looked kind of exactly to Leon Edwards' knockout versus Kamaru Usman. Very reminiscent. Shout out for that. It was really good. But you just got a long way to go, buddy. You got a long way to go. And your whole demeanor of being kind of like an asshole, being a heel, I mean, if that's what you want to do, go for it. But I just don't think it's great, you know? I think you can be kind of like a nicer guy, a more genuine guy, and just try to be yourself. I think he's definitely a guy that he cares way too much what people say about him. And, I mean, it backfires at some point. At some point, it definitely backfires. So, yeah. Next up, we had another decent fight. Roman Kopylov versus RoboCop Rodriguez. Definitely impressed with RoboCop. I did not think he was going to get the win. Definitely thought Roman being like the more fresher guy, not younger, even though he looks 19 and RoboCop looks 54. They're the same fucking age, dude. I mean, holy shit, bro. Again, they look the complete opposite of ages. Roman looks like he just got out of high school. And RoboCop looks like his fucking PE teacher. Like, this is insane. And they're the same fucking age, bro. But Roman being like the fresher guy, the less weathered guy, coming off of a loss, unfortunately, which didn't inspire a lot of confidence, but shout out to G-Rod, man. G-Rod did a really good job at kind of just controlling the fight a little bit, pretty much outstriking Roman. He was just hitting some very powerful, very stiff jabs and striking, and Roman had no answer for it. Very little wrestling on the department, very little wrestling throughout the fight. Roman did have a few takedowns, but nothing really damaging or threatening to RoboCop. But RoboCop was just clearly not only bigger, but just throwing more effective punches with way more power. Definitely the most powerful out of the two. So shout out to G-Rod. Ended up just pretty much outstriking Roman for the entire fight. So shout out to him, man. Really, really good win for G-Rod. I'm glad to see him on that win column. I know he's had some rough patches, but I'm glad to see him right there. So shout out. Erin Blanchfield versus Tracy Cortez. I was excited for this fight too. It was clearly just Erin was such a higher level fighter, and Tracy, up until this point, was doing a good job at having a great record in the UFC. She pretty much had a lot of wins in a row. She only lost to Rose Namajunas. But I said this last week. If you look at all of her wins in the UFC, they're all split, unanimous, split, unanimous, like boring as shit, right? So she's clinching, barely clinching these wins. And you can just tell Erin Blanchfield just is a higher level MMA fighter. It's just what it is. Higher in the jiu-jitsu department, higher in the grappling, higher in the striking. A clear advantage. This is weird. Usually you get to see somebody outshine somebody in other areas, or one fighter is good with the wrestling, one fighter does good with the striking, but Aaron just did really good overall, man. Really well, job well done. And ended up submitting Tracy, which Aaron is a fantastic submission artist. She submitted Meatball Molly and a bunch of others, so that's her bread and butter. I don't want to say this was a number one contender fight, but it could be. I mean, looking at the flyweight division of the women's, you have Valentina, obviously, who just defended the belt. You have Alexa Grasso, and then you have Erin Blanchfield at number 4. So maybe one more. Although I feel like she's been fighting for so long, and she's been getting these wins for so long that I feel like she should fight for a title. I mean, really. I mean, even looking at the rankings, I mean, Fiora just lost to Valentina. Grasso already lost to Valentina. Natalia Silva, I believe she hasn't fought Valentina, but she could be up next. She's ranked number 2, higher than Erin, and then you have Erin. So yeah, I mean, definitely Erin could be not the number one contender fight, but definitely the next one after that. So either win one more, or either just hang out and see if an opportunity comes along. So yeah, shout out. Dude, okay, next we have an amazing fight. Well, it was an amazing fight, but it was an amazing performance. From both, it was an amazing fight, right? But Malcolm Wellmaker versus Ethan Ewing. Ethan Ewing took this fight 48 hours notice. 48 hours notice. This guy, it was his UFC debut. Malcolm Wellmaker was a huge favorite to win this fight because he is actually a really good fighter. He's 10-1. He was 10-0 at that point, undefeated. And then you throw him against the guy making his UFC debut. Ethan Ewing, brother, has he's a dog. He is just a fucking dog, bro. There's literally no other word I can use. We all knew Malcolm Wellmaker is a fantastic striker. He's a finisher, undefeated guy. Did a really good job at touching up Ethan's body, jabbing the body, and doing damage on the body in general. But Ethan Ewing fought November 6th, gets a call from the UFC. You want to take a fight 48 hours notice? Says yes. It's an undefeated guy. Fuck it. He's a striker. Fuck it. It's Malcolm Wellmaker. Fuck it. And the guy came in and got the job done. Brother, I fucking love that, bro. I fucking love that. This guy is amazing. I mean, literally, the fact that he was able to do that to Malcolm Wellmaker, who everybody was expecting to just walk Ethan Ewing down. I mean, it is what it is, man. It's nothing against Ethan. It's just that UFC debuted, last minute replacement, not time to prepare, going against a very, very tough opponent. Yeah, I mean, the odds were made like that for a reason. So, huge upset. I mean, I wish, bro, I would have fucking bet my entire net worth on Ethan Ewing if I would have known. But yeah, man, I love this guy now. I'm such a fan now. I hope to see him in another fight in the UFC, see him grow within the organization, and hopefully get more of him, because he's clearly an amazing fighter. Clearly has a huge, huge heart. Such a fucking warrior mentality. He's a dog. He's absolutely a dog. So, shout out. Shout out to Ethan Ewing. Kyle Daukaus versus Gerald Meerschaert ended up in a round 1 submission. I was kind of hoping Meerschaert would get the job done, man. But yeah, Kyle coming up with the submission was, pretty good. I mean, he was a huge favorite, but I was kind of hoping Gerald would pull something out of the bag. Unfortunately, he didn't. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Pat Sabatini getting a win against Chepe. That was pretty good. Just a decision win. Nothing crazy there. Angela Hill being pretty much dominated by Fatima Klein. I mean, complete dominations from Fatima, dude. And Angela Hill, I mean, you got to understand, she is a little bit of a veteran of the sport too. So she's 40 years old. She's been fighting for the longest. She's been in the UFC since 2017, so almost 10 years, but she's had a number of fights, dude, a number of fights. Obviously fought MMA before the UFC too, so just a weathered fighter. But I mean, unfortunate, pretty much getting dominated by Fatima, who is, 15 years younger than Angela. So yeah, it is what it is, man. It happens, we had a fantastic finish from this up-and-coming guy, Baisanyor Susurkaev, who the night that Hamzat fought DDP, this guy made his UFC debut. He had just won at Dana White's Contender Series, and then he took a last-minute fight at that fight night, at that pay-per-view. Got a finish there too, and now he came back and got a third-round TKO against Arian Makhachev. It wasn't easy, by all means. I'm liking this guy because we're definitely seeing him. The same thing happened last fight. We're seeing him getting these late finishes and overcame like adversity, pretty much, right? We are not seeing him just get this flashy first round knockouts, which is great. We always like to see, but I think the true character of a fighter gets built when he has to walk to fire and still pull off a finish, right? A dub would have been okay. I forget how I was scoring the fight. I forget who was winning the fight up until that point. Maybe him. I don't remember. But it was closer than everybody thought. He was a huge favorite. And Eric was doing a really, really good job at kind of not playing his game and letting Baisanyor kind of just take full control. He landed, Eric was there with the striking. He landed 90 total strikes for 105 for Susurkaev. So it wasn't that crazy difference of striking. So 53 significant strikes for both of them. So pretty much even right there. But yeah, Baisanyor Susurkaev getting that third round late KO win. So shout out to him. I think he just has to keep winning, keep working. It's fine that we're seeing him walk through fire, but definitely keep improving. Don't take too much damage because that's definitely the one thing you want to avoid. But yeah, after that, you're on your way, dude. You're on your way. You made a huge impression. You made a huge impression on Dana White. So, he has you here. So just keep winning, keep getting performances really good, and you'll be all right, brother. So shout out Susurkaev. The first fight of the night, Matthews Camilo versus Vyacheslav Borshachev. Fuck, dude. We're fucked. Win for Mateus. I gotta be honest with you. This was the first fight of the prelims. I did not watch this fight. So, but yeah, shout out for Mateus for getting a win. It looks like this is his first win in the UFC because he did lose his UFC debut. So yeah. Shout out. Hopefully he just keeps on going. He's a young guy, 24, but he's got an okay record in MMA overall. He's got 2 losses outside the UFC before he joined. So yeah, hopefully he keeps going. So shout out to him. Well, guys, that will be all for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Leave me a comment if you agree with any of my breakdowns, any of my predictions, any of my, am I fucking crazy? Do you agree with me or not? Please let me know. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.